Thanks, Rabbi Boxed back with my podcast for this week. Um, it's been a controversial last couple of days. Um, the loss of any life is significant. Um, Anyone dying is not good, um, especially anyone being murdered in any way, shape, or form is horrific and terrible. And in Minnesota yesterday, in Minneapolis, um, is an example, or what's happening since what happened yesterday, is an example of what happens when a country is divided. I'm not going to, in this podcast, get into reasons behind who did what and when and where and why. Um, you know, depending on your political views, depending on where you stand, you're going to say that so and so acted in this way and so acted in this way. But what is clear to me, what I'm struggling with, and um, many of my colleagues and friends, family members are struggling with the most, is how controversially divided the loss of a life can become. Woman lost her life. She was murdered. She was killed. She was shot in her car. She didn't have a gun. Some say that her car was a weapon and that the police officer, excuse me, the ICE officer that shot her was acting in self-defense. The video the videos that are out there do not show that. The videos that are out there do not show a woman who had intent at running over another human being. The videos that are out there show a woman who was distraught, who was frustrated, and then was killed. Period. End of story. There's no other way to look at it. That doesn't justify her action. It doesn't justify the police officers' the ICE agents' actions. But there are absolute non truths, lies that are being spouted about things that happened, or I should say, didn't happen yesterday. The ICE agent that was quote unquote run over was not in the hospital, did not, well, he may have been taken to the hospital, checked out, but he did not sustain injuries. He was not his life was not threatened. Um, did the car, as the woman was trying to get away, did it bump him? Perhaps. You can't really tell. Um, what you can see is a woman waving her hand out, telling people to go around her, and then her attempt at leaving. But the highest ranking political leaders of our country are saying that what happened to her was her fault, that she caused this accident, excuse me, this killing to happen, that she did something wrong. And and now, after the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension was who had arrived on the scene, was trying to lead an investigation. Now they're being told by the FBI that only the FBI will have access to case materials, scene evidence, or investigative interviews. that they're going to FBI is going to do a complete and thorough independent investigation. It doesn't equal out. Something is wrong. It's not terrorism. Uh, the vice president said the reason this woman is dead is because she tried to ram somebody with her car and that guy acted in self defense. That is why she lost her life, and that is the tragedy. That's just not what happened, according to the videos that are out there now. Now, granted, the 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 one of the leading Minneapolis police officers, the police chief Brian O'Hara, um, said that we need to not pass any kind of judgment or say anything until we can 100% get a hold on the investigation and understand everything, that all of the different motives of all the people that were involved and so on and so forth. He also said, I think anyone who is objective that looks at the situation can certainly at least say that what's happening is causing chaos. Depending on where you stand politically, that means one thing or another. One side will say that the protests are people who are potentially domestic terrorists who are causing distraught and fraught and are attacking the ICE officers and causing all the problems. And then what the other side will say, they have the right under the First Amendment to protest. And as long as they're not doing anything that would be considered illegal, they have the rights to do that. And that what happened was the result of an ICE agent who let his power go to his head, and that's what caused the murder. Cannot stand idly by as a country and allow this kind of thing to happen, number one. Number two, we can't allow it to cause the divide in our country, which it is causing, number two. And number three, we need to sit down as human beings, as adults, and actually talk things out. There's not enough talking. Let me rephrase that. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of people saying what they want to say, what they think they should say, without any evidence to back it up or any intellectual response or thoughts or whatever. What needs to happen is that people need to sit down and look at each other face to face without weapons, no weapons of any kind, and just have a conversation. What happened in Minneapolis yesterday cannot continue to happen. It is happening over and over again in cities across our great country, and our great country is suffering because of it. Countries around the world are looking at us and laughing. They don't understand what is going on in our country, and honestly, I can't fault them for asking that question, because I am also at a loss at what's happening in our country. There is so much hatred, so much divide, so much arrogance, so much just negativity. We don't have to agree on everything. We don't have to, but we do have to agree that life is precious and valuable. All life is precious and valuable. Everybody in the world should have the right to live their lives in peace, in harmony with each other, and not worry that the next thing that they do is the last thing they're going to do because of the actions of somebody else that could occur. Take a step back as a country. Um, just can't continue doing what we're doing. We can't continue down the road that we're currently on. We can't ignore it. We can't be afraid to speak our minds, to say what actually is on our minds. And right now, what's on my mind is our government is taking us down a very, very, very dangerous path that will lead to nothing more but pain and anger and frustration and more negativity. And we can't have it. We need those that have been elected by us as Americans to be the adults in the room, to stand up and for what is right and to fight against what is wrong. We cannot argue about what that is. The loss of life is wrong. Hating another because of the color of the skin of their skin, because of their sexual choice preferences, because of the way they live their lives, whatever. All of these things are not, they're not good. It is our responsibility as human beings to treat each other with kindness and love. We don't have to support everyone. We don't have to even like the way a person lives their life, but we don't have the right to tell them or treat them that like it's they're wrong because we don't agree or we don't understand. That's that's where I am this week. I hope our country can continue to exist not along the same lines that we are right now, but in a healthier um, place moving forward. We got to do some serious looking in the mirror, some serious soul searching, and we've got to do this as quickly as we can. I can tell you there are many reasons that a person like me should be scared today in this country. I don't like that. I don't want to be scared in my own country. I want to be safe. I want to be secure. I want to know that I'm protected because I have the right to be. The right to be an American. I have the right to be a Floridian. I have the right to be Jewish. I have the right to be a male. I have the right to be heterosexual, and on and on and on and on and on, and so on and so forth. Everybody should have the same rights. Period.